Mute. Make sure that's good. All right, I think we're good. All right, so the untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. And guys, I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. It's felt like an eternity. The last time I was live was when? The last time I was live was in the wee hours of Inoue Nakatani. So Saturday, morning. That was the last time I was live. Been a busy man since then. Covered a fight, drove through I don't know how many states. And went through a lot of interesting life experiences driving from Vegas to Atlanta with some of Team Leo. But we made it. We are in Atlanta. It is, in fact, Angelo Leo Fight Week. A lot of you guys have complained to me and said, BT, you ain't been going live. We haven't been getting content like you for this, that, and the third. And the reason for that has been because I've been in training camp, not just film studying, not just training myself, getting in dog shape myself, but also, we got some other projects going on. I can tell you guys one of them now. By the way, hold on. Let me go ahead and get y'all the link so y'all can go check it out for yourself. So you guys know I'm not bullshitting with you when I say this. And we're gonna talk plenty of Angelo, Leo, Rai Salim. We're gonna talk about Inoue Nakatani. I know y'all gonna have a gajillion questions about Inoue Nakatani and Devin Haney with Zuffa and all this crazy stuff going on in the fight game. So get those questions below. Smash the like button. Run that shit all the way up. Let me know what city, what state, what continent you're watching from, and definitely super chat, right? Because without you guys, these lives aren't possible. But look, one of the projects that I spent the whole camp working on, and I haven't really talked about it all that much. I mentioned it here in the other lives, but I taught myself a whole new skill during this camp. In terms of like Shopify and e-commerce, and we actually went ahead and we built Angelo Leo a whole e-commerce store with t-shirts and custom designs and products and things like this. And I'm gonna start doing this for some of the fighters that I'm close with. I'm gonna start building them stores and things like that. So look, if you want to go ahead and you want to support Angelo Leo, go to angeloleoapparel.com. Created by yours truly, and go copy you a t-shirt. Go ahead and copy you a t-shirt. Go support the champ. Go support, one of the realest champions in boxing who, despite not having the boxing politics on his side, he's still fighting stiffer competition than Rafael Espinoza, Bruce Carrington, and all that blase. Go check it out for yourself. Go get his shirt. Go get your mama's shirt. Go get your cousin a shirt. Go get your granny a shirt. And support the realest featherweight in the fight game today. But nonetheless, make sure you guys smash the like button. I'm gonna run through these comments. And then I'll give you guys my opening statements here in a second. So we got my man Jonathan Cortijo, who single-handedly delayed this live. I was trying to do something. He wanted to call the minute he see a schedule. He wanted to delay the live. But shout out to him, man. He's a big part of Team Leo, and he's a great friend of mine. He says, "Welcome to Atlanta where players play." Yes, it's Jesus M in the building. Good to see you, champ. We got Josh in the building. Good to see you, Josh. We got Jesus MB says, how long was camp for Leo? It was long. I got there before camp even started. I was there in late February. So from late February to right now, I've been with the champ day in and day out, running with him, film studying with him, keeping him in check, him keeping me in check, me keeping him in check. It's a iron sharpens iron affair. So, yeah, it's been a while. And God willing, you guys get to see Saturday what we've been working on, and I think it's going to pan out very, very well. And yeah, it was a couple of months. Yep. Waterbury, Connecticut. Shout out to you, champion. Shout out to my main man, Daniel Cortijo. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He can show you better than he can tell you. Yo, my parents are watching you on TV. We're lit. Shout out to Johnny's parents. Hola, Chris. Hola, Daniel. ¿Cómo estamos? ¿Cómo estás? Hope all is well. I've been practicing some Spanish too. Fernando and Eric been teaching me some Spanish during camp. Hey, tell me what you thought. I'll tell you all what I learned. 111 huevos. Oh. Yeah. Pound for pound, my main man from Twitter. Shout out to Pound for Pound, one of my favorite Twitter accounts. He's been fun to talk to and just tease about the whole Geron Ennis thing. He wants to know, has anyone from Inoue's team reached out to Team Angelo Leo? And the answer to that question is absolutely not. They got their own plans. I mean, everything you guys have been seeing in the media when it comes to Inoue, that's what's been going on. They want to stay at 122. They want to fight flyweights. They don't want to fight featherweights. In fact, don't even take it as me talking shit. But Bob Arum and Todd DeBuff themselves, they came out and they said, "Listen, we don't think it's a good idea for Inoue to go to featherweight. You know, these guys hit kind of hard. So no, there hasn't been any of that. Now to answer your follow up, because I know I'm gonna get a follow up. You're gonna say, BT, well, has there been? See, like I go live and people want to start calling me. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me, because now all of a sudden I'm going live. Fucking Johnny want to call me. Managers want to call me. Gonna blow up again. Another phone call. I gotta keep exiting out these phone calls. It's making me upset. I'm gonna start blocking my whole contact list, because I was in a car the whole day. We don't went through. We went to Mississippi, Alabama, fucking bum ass Arkansas. You know, all these states, and ain't nobody called me. I had to get 2 phones. I'm too famous now. It's ridiculous. Nah, I ain't famous, bro. I ain't famous. But yes. To answer your follow up, the follow up would be like, I'm famous. Has anybody from Bruce Carrington or Espinoza reached out? Now, as far as Bruce, you guys have already seen what's happening with Bruce. They just announced today that that he's gonna fight Oscar Palacios on the undercard of Abdullah Mason. So obviously that's not in play. And then right now, and then God knows what Rafael Espinoza wants to do. They were supposed to me 3 times. I ignored her call 3 times. She called me 3 times. It's Yuka. It's Yuka's grandmother. She's been calling me 3 times. Anyway, I'm trying to go live, man. Every time I go live, I feel like this is the devil. Every time I try to go live, you got my fucking friends who don't understand. You got people in boxing that don't understand. And all I want to do is just talk about boxing, and they want to hate on the kid. But it's messing up my train of thought. So what I was trying to say is, Rafael Espinoza, they were pump faking in the media, acting like they wanted to fight, and then they made it sound like Angelo didn't want to fight. But the reality is, Rafa has been fighting voluntary after voluntary after voluntary, and even his own people have said that this lady saying, "Call me ASAP." Nah, she can wait. She can have to wait 2 hours. That's ASAP. But shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry if I'm being frustrated. It's been a long day driving. For those that know who are just tuning in, when I say we, I mean Miguel Leo, Angelo's dad and trainer. Fernando Paredes, one of the sparring partners in camp. La Mantequilla Paredes. We drove all the way from Vegas to Atlanta, Georgia, and it was a two days and some change voyage. And I sat in the car the whole day staring at fucking grass, all this stuff. My phone was quiet. No one want to talk to me. But the minute I click live, it always happens. The minute I click live, the whole world want to talk to BT, and it's really annoying. So I'm gonna have to get 2 phones. That being said, by the way, guys, I'm sorry. Get your comments in. Get your comments in. Get your thoughts in. Get all that in. My man, I just want that you wants to know what's your prediction for Kenneth Lovera versus Michael Angeletti. I don't have one yet. I have to go watch Michael Angeletti. Um, Michael Angeletti is one of the fighters that I have in my notes. I have a whole prospect review series or contender review series that I do here on the channel. He's in the next cycle, so I haven't really watched him. I can't really tell you anything about him other than I know he's ranked. Kenny Lovera knows hard punches, so when I have an actual opinion, you'll see a video about it on the channel, and then once you see that video, you can ask me further, and I'll give you a breakdown. I'm not gonna bullshit you. Now, shout out to Johnny. He says, tell him the truth about Rafa lying on his name. Yeah, so I'm gonna tell y'all this. This is what happened. Because a lot of you people have been asking me about Espinoza. Why don't these guys unify? Um, First and foremost, we got to focus on Rai Salim. We're here. We're not here in Atlanta for Rafael Espinoza. We're here for Rai Salim. So that's the focus: is Rai Salim, beating Rai Salim, and continuing the title reign. But to address Rafael Espinoza, because I get questions on the daily. BT, why don't these featherweights unify? Why doesn't Espinoza want to unify? There's some guy. I don't even know. I don't know who this Johnny Come Lately guy is. Never fucking seen or heard of this guy in my life. But he sells cigars. The guy sells cigars. He's a bald-headed guy, Cuban dude from Miami. Never seen him, never heard of him in my life, right? guy's a part of Team Espinoza, and he does a whole podcast with Marco Antonio Barrera, and he pretty much says that he was told by Fernando Beltran, who is the head of Zanfer Promotions, who guided Rafael Espinoza's career, that they had a deal done for an Espinoza Leo fight, 99% done, and at the 11th hour, Leo backed out, which is nonsense. That did not happen. And I don't think he's an authority to speak on that matter just because he sells cigars. Happens to know Rafael Espinoza. Um, Rafael Espinoza, I like him. I was there the night in Florida when he won his first title against Robeisy Ramirez. I like him. Good guy, nice family, good people. But if we could be objective about his title reign, he ain't really fought. He ain't really fought nobody but Robeisy. That was Robeisy. He beat Robeisy for the title, and Robeisy was his mandatory challenger. Um, Outside of Robeisy, his whole title reign has been straight voluntaries. That's a fact. Edward Vasquez, voluntary. Arnold K. Guy, voluntary. Sergio Trino, voluntary. Bruce Carrington just won a belt. He just got here 5 minutes ago. He's getting a voluntary against Oscar Palacios. Now, this is not me talking trash or as you guys say, glazing Angelo. This is actually a fact. Angelo Leo at 122 and featherweight, both times he was champion. He has never had the luxury of fighting a voluntary opponent. When he won the belt at 122 against Tremaine Williams, he was supposed to fight Stephen Fulton initially. Fulton pulled out because I think he had COVID. So Angel had to fight Fulton immediately after winning the belt, even though he had COVID, right? He loses to Fulton, right? Years go by, becomes champion again against Venado. Since he beat Venado, he fought Kameda, who was the voluntary, or I should say mandatory. He fought Tomoe Kameda, who was the IBF mandatory challenger. He tried to get a voluntary against Lorenzo Dimiani because he's never had a voluntary his whole career. The fight fell through due to political stuff behind the scenes, and now he has to fight his second consecutive mandatory. So you guys tell me, if a guy has to fight two consecutive mandatories and can't get the unification fights, how is he not, how is he not a guy? How is he a guy that ducks smoke? Angelo Leo, like he's my friend and everything, and we're cool. I'm part of the team, but I'm not delusional. He's not the most commercially famous champion in the division. Rafael Espinoza is more well known than him right now. So is Bruce Carrington. Those guys' names are buzzing a bit more right now. A lot more. I would say more by a lot, by a good margin. So those guys get the luxury of picking and choosing who they want, and that's evidenced by the guys they fought since they've been the champion. But Angelo has had to fight. He fought the hardest guy in the division, or the longest reigning champion in the division, to become champion. A guy, by the way, Invernado Lopez, who I know for a fact, Mr. Honda did not want Inoue to fight. That's not me talking trash. That's what I know. Then he fought a guy in Kameda in Japan who has over 300 rounds of experience, former world champion. That's not easy to do. Your first defense, and forget against a former world champion, in a whole other country you never been to. I mean, who does that? And then now he's fighting Rai Salim, a guy that Stephen Fulton had an opportunity to go ahead and fight years ago, didn't do it. A guy that Espinoza had a chance to fight last May on the Inoue undercard. He had two options. Alim was on the short list. He chose Edward Vasquez, and Alim wound up fighting Rudy Garcia in the prelims of that card, right? So we're not, Angelo's not scared of Rafael Espinoza. We're not ducking and dodging nobody. If they present the contract, it'll get signed because Angelo Leo has fought in 7 states, 2 countries, and is willing, ready, and able to fight anybody. So until Espinoza or Bruce Carrington decide to either fight Angelo or fight tougher competition than Angelo, you can't really say much about Angelo. But anyway, nonetheless, shout out to my guy Josh. He says, "Yo, BT, look up Yoruba Maru. He's currently a Puerto Rican prospect, and he's currently 3-0, 3 knockouts, and he's 5'6", 21-year-old super bantamweight. I don't have to look him up. I know who he is already. He was in camp with us. He had a couple of days where he came by, and he sparred, in camp. I know about Yoruba. Shout out to him. Shout out to his dad. Great people. Shout out to Travion Boyd and my boy Caleb Medina and Matt Griego and all the fine folks that contributed to camp. Shout out to them. And yeah, and mind you, so to follow up with you guys, the guy that was running his mouth on this podcast trying to drag Angelo Leo's name through the dirt, me and Johnny pressed him, and he sung a whole different tune. Johnny been in his DMs messaging him, and he's singing a whole different tune. So my thing is this, man. When it comes to Team Leo, when it comes to Angelo Leo, we want the big fights. His track record shows you guys that he wants the big fights. When you look at the pandemic, the coronavirus, there weren't a lot of big fights happening in boxing. There weren't a lot of undefeated young champions stepping up to the plate to fight each other. Now, Angelo wasn't his night that night. Stephen Fulton on that night was a better man. They combined for 1,993 punches, which is the third most punches ever thrown combined in a super bantamweight title fight in history. It was a very exciting fight. Two young fighters put the undefeated record on the line. So my thing is, he showed you guys in a time where it wasn't the most beneficial to put your record up on the line, to put your reputation on the line, that he will step to the plate and make the fights happen for the boxing fans. It's these other guys, and that's just a fact. The track record speaks for itself. WBT, shout out to you, champ. Shout out to Dog. Rap Machine says Raif Salim is about to school Angelo Leo. Hey, I'm glad you feel that way. I never knew that there were so many passionate people that just believed this much in Raif Salim. So all I'm asking for is when he is not victorious against Angelo Leo, and when it is, and when you hear the words "and still," when he's laid out. Yeah, what Fernando said, when he's laid out, you know, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. He wasn't that good. We never heard of him. This, that, and the third. Because a lot of you guys have been saying, "Oh, well, he beat Makita Nakano, one of the hardest punchers in the division," and he didn't really lose to Sam Goodman. I've even seen that by people. So my thing is, I don't want to hear different narratives. Because when Angelo fought Bernardo Lopez, I remember being here. I remember being here, and a lot of people were telling me your friend's going to the hospital. He's gonna be coughing up on his own blood, and this, that, and the third. I got very disrespectful messages on here, and when it came down to it, it was the other guy that went to the hospital. So again, I know Raif Salim is not Bernardo Lopez. It's a different style. It's a different challenge. I'm not gonna put him down. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a quality opponent, a worthy opponent. But I'm just more so talking to people that all of a sudden these Johnny come latelys. I call y'all Johnny come latelys. So best of luck to Raif Salim. I'm sure he's trained hard. This is the opportunity of his lifetime to change his life. He's a really top contender. A lot of guys didn't want to fight him. A lot of guys that you guys tell me are these great fighters, these darlings of the division, they didn't want to fight him, but we're fighting him. So it is what it is. They want to know what my prediction is for Leo's fight. I'm not gonna give you guys that right now. I'm gonna enjoy this fight week. We got right now. It's just we got to Atlanta. We got to Atlanta. We're decompressing right now. We're taking your guys' questions. We're doing all that. But by the way, for any of you guys that are here, or are gonna be here in Atlanta, the press conference and the weigh-in will be open to the public. So if you can make it to Atlanta, it's gonna be, I believe, at the I think it's at the one of these hotels in Atlanta. So if you just go on Sleater Promotions, it'll be, the information will be on there. It'll be at noon. So anybody that wants to come out and support, you can definitely come out and support and do that. I believe it's at the Sonesta Hotel. I think that's where it's at. So that being said, come through, support. If you want to support Raif Salim, that's cool. If you want to support Angelo Leo, that's cool. As long as you support boxing, because at the end of the day, we all love boxing. So I'll give you my prediction. I'll give you guys my official prediction on Friday. Friday night, I'll put out a final thoughts video, and I'll give you guys my prediction and some last minute thoughts. But right now, I'm gonna chill. You can say my man Josh says he got Leo by round 9 KO. Okay. Shout out to you. I want him to win. He deserves Unify. I agree with that. One guy said laid out. I mean, you heard. I mean, I didn't say it. My man Fernando Paredes said it, and he's an authority. He can speak about Angelo laying people out, because ain't nobody been in the ring with him more. Nobody's been in the ring with Angelo more the last year than him. So, Johnny says, I remember they told us we was going to the hospital and we saw Venado in the ambulance. He is going. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you said it like me. Jonathan Cortijo, though, man. How was the drive, BT? Well, luckily I didn't really I didn't have to do any driving, and neither did Fernando. All the driving was handled by the head honcho of this whole operation, Mr. Miguel Leo. But still, even just sitting there, it was a lot. It was a long drive, because you got to go from Vegas through freaking Arizona, through what was it? No. In order, what was it? It was Nevada. You got Arizona. What you got? Texas. You had Oklahoma. Arkansas. Oh, fuck Arkansas. Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. It was one for the books, and we didn't We didn't do it all at once. We broke it up, but it was a journey. I'll tell you that. And Johnny says, if you want a prediction, the prediction is going to be and still. That's right. And still is the correct prediction. Johnny boy though. Unfortunately, Leo won't get a big fight because they aren't forced to fight him. He might be on the shelf till his next mandatory unless they actually invest in him. Well, I'm a glass half full type of guy. And by the way, guys, there's 25 people here. I only got 9 likes. I don't gotta be here right now. I could be asleep. We had a long drive here, but we're here. It's the beginning of fight week. Make sure you smash that like button. Definitely subscribe for tuning in. Give us your thoughts on Aleem versus Angelo. If you got any questions about any of the fights from this weekend, I'll happily answer those as well. And yeah, give me all that stuff. Now, going to this comment right here with Mooney's Gamble. He says, unfortunately, he won't get a big fight because they aren't forced to fight him, and he might be on the shelf to his next mandatory unless they actually invest in him. Now, I'm not mad. I'm an optimistic guy. So even though there's a lot of sense to what you're saying, I'm gonna be optimistic here. Now I can't say everything. There's some things are not meant to be said on YouTube, right? Because your boy BT could get in trouble if I say certain things, and I don't know who's watching these things. But all I'll say is this: just look good on Saturday night, and I think the world I think the world is his oyster. I think very very great opportunities will be ahead for him, and I think a lot of people will be put in a great position, be put in a position where they start getting asked. You guys start asking Bruce Carrington and Rafael Espinosa these questions about unification. It's really agitating that I like Inoue, and I've been an Inoue fan longer than most people in the world in America. But it's been annoying seeing like how he's been moving and how he's getting a pass for it, and it's disgusting to me that Top Rank and Bob Arum and Todd DeBuff are guiding him away from featherweight. They was just talking about Bob Arum was talking his socks off about a year ago about Inoue coming up to featherweight, and now all of a sudden, you want to keep him at 122 so you can just milk off of him so he can beat up on these flyweights that already got their jaws broken by guys like Christian Gonzalez, and you want to pass it off as some super fight because Turkey Al Sheikh says so, and instead of Inoue going up, trying to go the Manny Pacquiao route and going up with another weight class and seeing if he can become one of boxing's next 5 division champions, because there's less than 10 of those in the history of the sport. And listen, I'm not even talking about just Angelo, right? Let's just say he don't fight Angelo, right? Because we could say BT are being biased, this, that, and the third. Fine, cool. Bruce Carrington's is a big event. Bruce Carrington's a good fight. Rafael Espinosa is a good fight. Brandon Figueroa is a good fight. Those are all still interesting fights that I think would be great to see Inoue in. And if he could just win, if he picks off one belt, he joins very very elite company as one of boxing's less than 10 5 division champions. He would join names like Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Terrence Crawford, Oscar De La Hoya. These kind of guys, and who wouldn't want to be amongst that elite class, that boxing royalty, I'll leave it at that. What did you think? And Dog wants to know, what did I think of training camp this time around? To be honest with you, personally, out of all the camps that I've been around Angelo for, this is my favorite camp we ever had, honestly. Because I think, you know, it wasn't just like film study. Like, I actually put myself through the camp. I got in there, I sparred and things like that, and it was good. I enjoyed it. I had my boy Eric Lantis Jr. in camp, a great friend of mine, a guy that I think could do some things at 140. Just got to develop a bit more, and yeah, just everybody that was involved in it. It was a really special time. Um, who do I got in Worley versus Dubois? It's a good fight. I'm leaning towards Worley. I think Dubois, durability wise, I think he's not the most. He's the least durable guy, and I think Worley will have the speed advantage. So if Dubois doesn't get him out of there, or hurt him in the first 3 to 4 rounds, I think Worley does the job. But it'll be a good fight. It could go either way. Why is Jalalov fighting some Croatian bum? I don't know anything about who Jalalov is fighting next, but what I can say is that Jalalov to me is has never been a guy that I've been high on. A lot of people try to hype him up as some sort of killer in the heavyweight division because he goes to the Olympics and he beats up on these kids. But I mean, to me, he's one of the softest matched prospects or contenders in the whole sport of boxing. That's just being honest. Inoue is in his fourth weight division. Cut him some slack. I think I've been very gracious to Inoue. People keep saying cut him. I've been very gracious to Inoue, guys. Like, um, He's probably gotten cut more slack than most fighters would get. Um, you know what I mean? Like he's been getting cut slack. Like they just every time it's time for him to go to featherweight, they create new opponents. You know, Bam has not even fought at 118, and they're talking about Bam versus Inoue 122. You know, so I've been cutting him slack. Um, you know, when you're truly a great fighter, which he is, and I've always acknowledged that. Um, Great things with great power, like Spider-Man says, when great power comes great responsibility. So that's what it is. Um, have I gotten any dreams? Does the universe tell you what does the universe tell you will happen? The universe tells me that Angelo Leo is gonna have his hand raised. That's what it tells me. I'm gonna keep my prediction to myself till Friday. You guys hear it on Friday. Um, Am I gonna watch Lorata Dimiani and Nakano? I want to. I'm not sure what time it's gonna be at, but I would love to watch that fight. You know, obviously it's an intriguing fight. Those are two guys that are ranked highly in the IBF rankings. Both guys could fight Angelo. Both guys actually were in position to fight Angelo. You know, all Nakano had to do was just beat Raya Salim, and he didn't. So that's why we're here in Atlanta this weekend. And then Dimiani was the guy that was supposed to be the voluntary, and that fell through just because of behind the scenes stuff. So, the winner of that fight could be a potential opponent. I do want to watch it. Mooney's Gamble says, I got Leo winning 8-4. Alim is a good fighter, but Leo's experience at the top level and pressure will win him rounds. Yeah, fair enough, man. I could see that. I could see that for sure. Alim definitely is tricky, and he's got a good style, in terms of his boxing, and he does some good things now. I'm not taking nothing from Rice Salim. He's a good fighter. Instead of wetting your pants and forcing Inoue to jump right away at 126, why don't you tell your boy Leo to go unify against Espinosa or Bruce? It sounds like you're scared for Leo. It sounds like you're conjuring up scenarios because I'm not scared of none of these guys. Like I'll be honest with you. You guys want to know the truth? I think Rafael Espinosa and Bruce Carrington are tailor made for Angelo. I'm not really worried about those guys. Inoue is not. He don't got the durability to deal with Angelo. There's only one guy in and around these weights from 122 to 130 that I have any genuine concern about Angelo fighting, and that guy is Vaquero Navarrete. That's the only guy where if we fight him, I'm like, damn, this is really one of them fights. Tough fight because he's long and he's rangy and he has ball, he punches a volume. That's a fight where I could say, you know what, that's gonna be one of them fights. But I'm not worried about Inoue. Inoue hasn't yet corrected what he needs to correct, and he's gonna get beat the fuck up if he comes up to featherweight. Espinoza, not on that level. Bruce Carrington does some good things, but has like two really fatal flaws he hasn't fixed yet. So I'm not even really worried about him either, if I'm being honest. But he's a good fighter. Um, as far as Nakano and Dimiani, it's a good fight. I like. It's a tough fight. I'll go Dimiani on points, but we'll see. And as far as the unification fights, we tried to make them happen. They didn't happen. So that's why we're fighting Raiz. Unfortunately, Angela has the IBF belt, and you guys know how the IBF is with those mandatories. They're not going to play around. So it's either you fight them or you drop the belt, and we're not doing that under any circumstances. So it is what it is. We don't believe in the universe. We believe in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's what I'm saying. We do. So we're not worried about none of that stuff. You mean Leo, the who got schooled by Fulton, the same clown who got murdered by Inoue and schooled by Foster? Really, BT? I mean, if we're gonna play triangle theories, I mean, okay, let's play triangle theories. Um, Brian Mendoza knocked out Sebastian Fundura. Sebastian Fundura beat Tim Zhu, right? But Tim Zhu beat Brian Mendoza. So you can't use triangle theories in every scenario. And in terms of comparing the Fulton that Angelo fought versus the Fulton that Inoue fought a weaker version of Fulton than Angelo did. Inoue fought a Stephen Fulton who was inactive for well over a year, who was really shouldn't even have been at the weight class because he said it himself that he was not like he wasn't making the weight comfortably. That's out of his mouth, not mine. Angelo fought the hungry Stephen Fulton, and yeah, he lost Stephen Fulton, and that's true. But you know what? He got better from that fight. That was 6 years ago. He's not the same fighter. And if and when Stephen Fulton wants to rematch or Inoue wants to step in the ring, You will see that. But you know what? You'll see it this weekend. Let's start there. Shushu, from what I've seen, seems to only be good against volume punchers. He has a good jab and keeps distance, and he struggles. Yeah, I mean, they have a particular style. Top Rank has matched him with a particular style. And I'll leave it at that, man. I'm not gonna break Bruce Carrington down and start breaking these guys down too deeply for you guys because I know Brad Goodman be watching this channel. I know the matchmakers watch this channel, and the powers that be. So we're not gonna give them the game. The game is to be sold, not told. What do I think of the new pound for pound list? I like it. I think it's a good pound for pound list. I mean, I think it's very debatable on who pound for pound number one is at the moment. I mean, people will say it's Inoue because of the activity, which I won't get mad at. But I personally like the quality of resume that Usyk has over Inoue, even though I like Inoue more, and I think Inoue is more exciting to watch. Um, but that's subjective. The main reason why I like the pound for pound list now is because they included Emmanuel Vaquero Navarrete, and I think he's one of the best fighters out there. Truth be told, forget all these guys at featherweight like Inoue and Bruce and Rafa and Brandon. I'm not worried about those guys. That's the only guy where I'm like, damn, that's a hard fight. I hope you won't be making excuses and throwing Leon under the bus after he loses. I've never proven to be that guy. This is bigger than boxing. Number one, he lost to Stephen Fulton. I mean, I didn't know him back then like I do now, but back then I didn't throw him down to the bus. When Angelo was inactive and none of y'all gave a fuck about him, I was the only one talking about him on YouTube. So I've never been the one to throw him under the bus. So we're not gonna lose. So we ain't gotta worry about that. But you know, I've already proven that will never happen. Who would you put instead of Collazo? I know you don't like him on that list. Not yet. I like Oscar Collazo. I think he's a very good fighter, but I just think it's too premature, and they're pushing him way too like they're pushing him way too off the list for being a guy that really hasn't even cleared out his division yet. Like now, if he go fights Pedro Tajuron, then we can talk about Oscar Collazo being pound for pound. But he ain't fought Pedro Tajuron. He's doing everything but fighting Pedro Tajuron. So either fight Pedro Tajuron or go, yeah, he's ducking the smoke, or go fight at 108 pounds and go win a world title there, become a two division champion, and then we can have a discussion. But right now, he's knocking on the door, but he ain't there. As far as who I'd have on the list besides Collazo, I mean, maybe he could be 10, but 10 that's the most right now. Shout out to my main man, Boxing Wave. Good to see Boxing Wave in the chat. You know, one of the veterans here on YouTube. He's been around for years. Like, I mean, I've been around for years, but he's been around for years too. Because I remember seeing Boxing Wave on YouTube like 2017, 2016, way back then. So good to see him in the chat. Um, he said he wants to go after Tajuan because he showed a picture on Instagram, but now we need to see them go on negotiations. I don't even want to see all that. Like, forget negotiations, forget pictures. Don't even respond to us. Get the damn fight done, and put the fight poster out, and let's get to it. That's where I'm at. You know, see that's the thing I've learned. What I've learned about boxing over the years, particularly because I'm with Angelo damn near every day during camp, and then I see and there's a lot of things that I never say here on YouTube. You guys don't understand how many people in this fight game I really know. I can go find out things that fighters are saying in the gym if I really want to, right? And so I know certain things that certain fighters in this division have said in their boxing gyms, and I know they don't want to fight Angelo. It's not even me talking trash. I know they don't want to fight him, right? So that being said, like these guys will get on social media and they'll sit here and they'll talk trash and they'll act like they want to fight, but when it comes down to that negotiations and them paperwork, they don't really want to sign that paperwork, right? But then Angelo don't talk that much, and he be trying to get these fights done. Boxing Wave says salute to you for supporting the smaller divisions before it became cool. Is it cool now? It still doesn't feel like it's cool, to be honest with you, but I guess it's a bit cooler now because you got Inoue, who's really become a name. You got Bam Rodriguez, who's becoming a name. Junto and Inoue just packed in Tokyo. So I guess yeah, it's not. It's different now than it was 10 years ago, boxing way, because I remember like back when Roman Gonzalez was pound for pound king. Oh my god, you were looked at as a weirdo for talking about guys below 122 pounds. I got Collazo on the list to be fair, and haven't even seen. Yeah, Johnny has him on the list, and he hasn't even seen him fight. That's crazy. Um, can you see Turkey pushing for a mega fight between Benavidez in the future? Benavidez and Mosey Tama in the future. Yeah, I could see it because that's what Turkey does. Turkey pushes for fights that don't make any sense. Dave Benavidez just got the cruiserweight, and now we're talking about him fighting heavyweights. So that's the type of shit that Turkey does. Crawford Canelo, Bam Minaway, this shit. Like he gets whoever the names are, whoever he thinks the names are, he throws them together and does his thing there. And I hate it. I hate it because I feel like it really takes away from the fights that actually should be happening. Rafael Espinoza might fight Kenji Fujita if he wins. I think that's exactly who he's going to fight. That he fits the description of a Rafael Espinoza type of opponent. You know, feather fisted, limited. You know, gonna let him press the action. You know, he's a little crafty in there, but he just doesn't have the firepower. Rafael Espinoza doesn't fight anybody with any real firepower. Go look at his resume. You should do a documentary style video next time you're in camp. I've done documentary style videos in camp. I did one for the Venado Lopez fight. It's literally the channel trailer when you go on the channel. I did one in Japan, and I have one dropping. I think tomorrow. I think I had the pre-camp one dropping tomorrow. Just like random stuff from pre-camp. So, and then I'll have one dropping after the fight, which will be camp and fight night. So, stay tuned for that. What do you think of Abdullah Mason headlining the first TNT card? Will it bring more casuals, in your opinion? Um, that all depends on if Abdullah Mason, continues to knock people out and get people excited and do his thing. TNT, the platform, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. What I can say is I like the fact that we have a fighter fighting on 4th of July against a Brit. And I can't believe that this has never happened. At least since I've been watching boxing, I can't think of a time where an American fighter headline on 4th of July weekend against another British fighter. I feel like we should be doing that in boxing. Like, do more 4th of July weekend shows against British fighters. Celebrate Independence Day properly, American Independence Day. Iron Core 44 says, "Yo, champ, we need you on commentary for the big fights." You think so? What does the chat think? I'll let all 24 of you guys answer that are here. Make sure you smash the like button. Do you want to see True School Sports on commentary for the big fights?
Hell yeah. True School. I'm a fan.
What's funny is, and Johnny says, what's funny is BT called it a year ago that Espinoza was fighting Kenji Fujita. Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I did my first ever like Kenji Fujita video, and I think it was like late 2024. So it might have even been more longer than a year ago. I was talking about Espinoza fighting Kenji Fujita back then, because Kenji Fujita, like I'm very, like, you guys know this is the home of boxing, but it's also the number one source for Japanese boxing in America. I know who Kenji Fujita is. I'm very familiar with Kenji Fujita. He's a Tekken Promotions fighter. He's a southpaw. I saw him fight at Corkin Hall last January. Um, he might actually be the best Japanese featherweight in terms of skills, even though I don't think he's that great. He's crafty. He moves well. He can counterpunch a little bit, but he has no pop. And I'll tell you guys this: if he does flash any pop against Espinoza, I'll be that Espinoza has no durability because he's not punching like that. And maybe his punch power might be a bigger factor than I think because he is an accurate fighter. And Espinoza, he's playing. I think he's playing with fire, staying at 126 too long. He's pretty big for the weight class. He might get weight drained and take the wrong fight one day. It's possible. I still don't get how Rafael Espinoza got hype fighting the Ukrainian guy who got hit by that same hook like 20 times and it felt like he just had no power. I'll tell you why he got hype. Espinoza got hype for a couple of reasons. It's not just one particular reason. The first reason is that when he won the title, it was an awesome fight. It was an awesome fight. I'll give him that much. I was there. It was probably one of the best fights I ever been to. Espinoza basically won great fight. The second thing is he became champion at a time where boxing is looking for new Mexican faces to be at the top. And he sings, he's tall, he's got an action style. So he ticks a lot of boxes there. And then third, and most important out of all of them, and this is why I give his management team a lot of credit, Zanfer Promotions and everybody involved with his career that make these decisions. They know how to pick voluntaries, and the WBO and Gustavo Olivieri have been giving him a shit ton of voluntaries. He's fought three of his four world title defenses have been voluntaries, and really, I'll count the Robeisy rematch as a voluntary as well because Robeisy, he already beat him for the title, so you're basically fighting a guy you already know. So he's actually never fought a unification or a mandatory, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So that's how I see it.
They capitalized his name, huh?
So they said yes, BT, we want to see you on commentary, definitely. Okay, so we'll see, man. I mean, if the opportunity presents itself, why not? I know. On this card this weekend, we got Najee from Cigar Talk doing that. Rap Machine says Leo is the weakest belt holder currently. That's a fact. You can have an opinion even if it's incorrect. I just want to know, like, what's your basis for this? Why do you say he's the weakest? I want to know. I see, Rap Machine. I fuck with you, man. You be in the chat. You make things fun. You always watch me and stuff like that. Why is it that you say this? What is it? Because he only has one loss. It was to Stephen Fulton, who was a fantastic fighter. It was an awesome fight. It was 6 years ago. They made history. They threw almost 2,000 combined punches. He hurt Stephen Fulton in the fourth round. If you go back and you watch the fight, but you probably missed that part. Why is he the weakest? What's so good about Brandon Figueroa? Who has Bruce Carrington beat? Bruce Carrington beat a non-world champion to become world champion. He beat fucking Carlos Castro, a professional loser at the championship level. You know who has Espinosa beat Robeisy. That's cool, but Robeisy in his own right, and I'm not trying to put him down, but it's just the truth. Robeisy came into the professional ranks. Yes, he was a gold medalist. Yes, he had a great pedigree. I give him all that. But Robeisy lost his pro debut to some guy we never heard of, right? And he won his title he won his title against Isaac Dogbe, right? I think he won it against Dogbe. He defended it against I don't want to say a guy was an Olympian, guy was a good fighter in Satoshi Shimizu, but a very basic ass fighter in Satoshi Shimizu. And then he lost to Espinosa. So what made Robeisy this great fighter? You know, you gotta get a Najee interview. Um, I mean, I'm not against it, but I mean, I wouldn't call that an interview. Maybe a collab or something like that. Let's not call it that. Who's waiting for not with Figueroa holding a belt? Who's waiting for Inoue to beat him? Yeah, he's literally doing the shit that you guys accuse Angelo of. He's literally waiting for Inoue to come fight him. Boxing Wave, who says, yeah, Angelo Leo was very hard to rate. Him knocking out Lopez is one of the most impressive wins at 120. That's what I'm saying. It's a very look. All I'll tell you guys is this: I've had a front row seat being around him in camps and things like that for 5 years, right? 5 years. All I can say is, man, when that man is dialed in, he's a special fighter. When he's dialed in, he's like special. That was like, and really, when I look at his whole career, out of the 20, what is it, 26 professional fights, I'll say, in my opinion, the world's probably only seen the A level Angelo Leo maybe, I'll say 3 times. He's been a B plus many times, but I think the A level guy when he was down, like Venado was the A level Angelo. Rocky Cesar Juarez on the Tank Davis undercard, that was an underrated win. That was A level Angelo. And then I would say probably his first pro box fight against Polanco. Those three really stick out to me. Um, I think Jin could have beat Sora easily if he kept using his jab. Well, you know what's crazy, TSM? I went back and I watched that Jin fight, and I actually think he did beat Sora easily. I went back and I scored. I thought he won 7 rounds. I thought he controlled the fight. I think when I watched the fight, I was trying not to be biased because I like Jin so damn much. So I was giving Sora a lot of rounds. But Jin really, I thought, did a really good job of controlling the fight with his jab, his movement. He was winning the majority of the exchanges. He asserted his dominance on the inside and walked Sora back. Sora was doing good. I thought Sora did a good job finding a home for his uppercut, but he was just very limited. He was getting outworked, and I thought Jin controlled the range. He controlled where the fight was fought. 7'3", something like that. Maybe you could say 6'4" if you really want to be generous, but I'm thinking more like 7'3". That was the kind of fight. BT, is Johnny around? Ask him if he's heard of the Argentinian prospect. No, Johnny's not around, but he's in the chat, so you can ask him.
Should I Johnny though?
You should collab with the boxing narrative. Well, I'm open to collabing with people as long as they're not like talking crazy about me all over social media. So if you just all you gotta do is hit me up on Twitter. I'm always on Twitter talking shit and having fun. I don't take Twitter seriously, so I just be on there. Like this whole car ride, I just entertain myself by talking crazy to everybody on Twitter. I'm gonna shut it down probably tonight. You'll probably won't even see me on Twitter till after the fight, but uh, tweet me at True School Sports. We can make it happen. Just to add, I don't think people watched the Fulton loss. It was a very good fight. It was two young fighters, with their O's during the pandemic when boxing really needed to fill the schedule with good fights, stepping up, getting people really entertaining fights. And it was what it was. On that night, on that particular night, at that moment in time, Stephen Fulton was a better man. I give him his due. I could sit here, I could make excuses like a lot of people do, but he was the better man that night, and it was a really good fight. And I actually really look at that fight with a lot of reverence. I like that fight. I'm proud of that fight, even though Angelo didn't win. I'm proud of that fight. I think if Angelo knocks out or dominates on Saturday, his name will start buzzing heavy at 126. It's a hot division right now. Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think so. But it's just kind of funny to me because it's like, man, he already knocked out Bernardo Lopez cold, so I feel like it should have already been buzzing, and it was for that time. That was now a year and some change ago, a year and a half ago. There's been factors that have kept him out of the ring, like I've highlighted, with Pro Box and things like that. Um, yeah, honestly, what's crazy. This fight with Alim. Now that I think about it, it's Angelo's first fight in America since the Bernardo Lopez fight. Ain't that crazy? But that's boxing promotions for you. I give Leo a chance against Figueroa, but against Espinoza, nah, Leo better pray he won't see that killer. Against Bruce, I think it's 60-40 in favor of Carrington. Why? I'm not asking for what your odds are. I'm asking why you think those things. Why do you think, what is it about Rafael Espinoza and Bruce Carrington that makes you so just like definitive? Like, no, he's like, I know if those fight gets made that Angelo's gonna be the underdog because they never make him the favorite unless he fights somebody who's not hyped up like Rais Salim or Kameda. But why? What is it? I want skill set breakdown. I want intelligence to be spewed in my chat. Like, is it the size of Espinoza? Is it his bone density? Is it his volume? What is it about him? Bruce Carrington, what is it? Is it his athleticism? Is it his explosiveness? Is it his range? What do you think it is? You know, I'm listening. I'm not even here to rebuttal. I'm not even here to rebuttal. I actually just want to know what the outside perception is because I don't think you guys understand. When we're in camp, we watch these guys. Like we watch these guys, we know them like the back of our hand. We're a very very well prepared team. So if you sign that contract to fight Angelo, you're dealing with one of the most well prepared teams in the sport of boxing. I want you guys to know that. So I'm not gonna give you guys my thoughts because I don't want people to be still like you don't need to know everything that I know and everything that I think and everything that I've watched with these guys. But what is it about these guys stylistically? What do you guys think it is? I'm here. I'm listening. You've seen the report saying that they want to set up the summer fight with people, 8,000 seat stadium, but who could he possibly fight? I think Inoue has reached a star level power, a status of popularity in Japan where he could just fight anybody and he probably could fill it out because he's like a national hero at this point. No, I th- I honestly think Espinoza is gonna have a terrible time with Angel Leo and his body work. It's very possible. It's very very possible. I think it's fair to say to this point in his career, Rafa has not dealt with a body puncher remotely in the same galaxy as Angelo Leo. Like that's just the truth. I don't know anybody he's fought that has any one punch knockout body shots on the resume. What are your thoughts on Albert Chop Chop Gonzalez of RGBA? He fights at 126. I think Albert Chop Chop Gonzalez could beat two of the champions right now. I think Albert Chop Chop Gonzalez could beat Bruce. And I think Albert Chop Chop Gonzalez could probably beat Brandon Figueroa. I think he's good. I like Chop Chop. I don't think Rafa is great, to be honest. I think he's going to get exposed by anyone who can counter with power. Well, you just you described two of the champions in the division. You know, Power Pound says Shushu's power to me is limited, but he is a good boxer. Really? I don't. I don't. I think he's a solid boxer. I don't think he's an elite creme de la creme top shelf boxer, and I think his power is I think it's solid. I think more so with Shushu, it's I'll just say I won't get too deep into it. I'll just say he knows what his strengths are and he's very good at fighting to them. I'll give him that. You know, Bruce is too fast, too smart, too slick for Leo. Espinoza clearly has all the advantages: bigger, taller, has a wide reach advantage over Leo, and Espinoza has knockout power advantage and hand speed combo. So then, why is it so hard for his promoters to sign the dotted line? Why do his promoters and his whole team run and act like some hoes in the media? Why is it? If that was the case, Angelo's not a hard guy to make a fight with. He's probably the easiest guy in the division to make a fight with. Um, if what you were saying was true, and Zanfer believed that, the fight would have been dead already. Um, as far as Bruce, you said he's too slick for Angelo. I definitely disagree with that one. You're confusing. You probably think because Bruce is black that he's slicker than Angelo. That couldn't be further from the truth. You're talking about him being too smart. I mean, that's very up for interpretation. When he fought Suleiman Sagawa, I saw a fighter that lacked the ability to make adjustments, and Top Rank clearly doesn't trust his boxing IQ based on how they matched him since the Sagawa fight. So I don't agree with that. Now, if you want to say in terms of speed, I don't even agree with that. But I will say that maybe Bruce, he's twitchy. I give him that. I give him he's twitchy. Espinosa, as far as advantages, so he's bigger and he's taller. That's not debatable. He's definitely bigger than he's taller. Does he have reach advantage? That's definitely true. As far as knockout power, that couldn't be further from the truth. And as far as hand speed, that also could not be further from the truth. Who has Rafael Espinoza ever knocked out on the world class level that doesn't and don't give me Robeisy Ramirez, because Robeisy Ramirez is a fighter that when he fought Rafael Espinoza in the first fight, he threw about 400 punches. He threw about 400 punches a fight. He threw 400 punches, probably even less. In fact, hold on, I'm gonna pull it up now because I want to have the exact number. How many punches did Robeisy throw? Being all cute and just Robeisy Ramirez Espinoza CompuBox. You talking about like he has all this power? He hasn't fought anybody that's that durable. He fought Sergio Trino Sanchez. Sergio Trino Sanchez literally quit in a fight against Mauricio Lara. And I'll tell you guys where Espinoza has the worst disadvantage in the world against Angelo. He is the less durable fighter. Let's not have no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Rafael Espinoza has been on his ass and was on Queer Street when he got hit by Robeisy Ramirez in the first fight. He also got dropped by Rafael Espinoza got dropped by a straight can, a Mexican can in Carlos Ornelas. Like a can. Like I'm sorry, Fern. A can. I won't put the nationality. I'll just say a can. So what's his name? Robeisy Ramirez, he threw 376 punches. So Rafa had nothing coming his way because Robeisy doesn't throw punches like that. So I mean, I don't want to hear it. He's been the most carefully matched fighter in the entire weight class. Wait, so BT, you said some guy Espinosa's team claimed Leo backed out after being close to signing. So are you confirming that there was talks for the fight? Yeah, there was talks. I mean, everything you guys heard out there from Salvador Rodriguez and them guys, all that happened. It was a thing at one particular point in time. I actually, bro, I thought it was gonna happen. I really thought for a time that it was gonna happen. But that's what they do. See, what they gotta do to you guys is they gotta sell you guys this narrative that Rafael Espinoza is this killer because he's 6 feet tall, and some of you guys will buy that bullshit, and then he'll go fight a overmatched opponent, and that can't beat him because they don't have the skill set, and you know, then they'll go some other route, and they'll go. And look, now who is Rafa talking about fighting now? Kenji Fujita. Come on, man, Kenji Fujita. You said nobody wanted a part of Leo, but now you're saying they were deep in talks to fight. So clarify who backed out of the contract. I just told you who. Rafael Espinoza. This is the easiest fighter in the division to make a fight with. Stephen Fulton, Venado Lopez, Tomoki Kameda, Rai Salim. This is the easiest fighter in the division to make a fight with. If you can't make a fight with Angelo Leo, then you just don't want to fight because he does not have that luxury. He doesn't he signed a pro box. He signed to pro box. Respect the pro box. Respect the Gary Jones. Respect the Dan Rubin. Let's call a spade a spade. He has had a fight in America since the Venado fight, and that's part of that is because of pro box. And y'all didn't press him for ducking. I did press him for ducking. I pressed the guy that went on the guy who from his team. I can't remember his name. The bald headed Cuban dude. I pressed him directly the other day about it, and he wanted to change his tune and this, that, and the third. Wasn't Nick Ball versus Leo actually offered to Nick Ball, but he declined it? This is correct. This is correct. And not just that, when I went to the WBA convention in December, I asked one of the representatives about fighting Angelo before Nick fought Brandon, and they were very non-committal about everything. So Pro Box has only been fighting Angelo one time a year. You can't even really even say it's Pro Box because, let's be honest, he signed with Pro Box. He fought the Polanco fight on Pro Box. He fought the Baez fight on Pro Box, and then he fought the Planilla fight. So it was Polanco, Planilla, Baez. After that, yeah, Pro Box has helped co-promote, but the lead promoter has not been Pro Box. His last fight where Pro Box was the lead promoter on their network was the Baez fight, and that was April 2024. The Kameda fight, they weren't the lead promoter, right? The Kameda Promotions was, and this fight, the lead promoter is Pacquiao Promotions and Salida. So that's just that just is what it is. Top Rank's been posting Leo, but they never want to make him any fights. Well, they Top Rank, they have a piece of him still, but they're not the lead people. So that's why you guys are seeing that they still have a piece of him. Are y'all looking at 130? Because featherweight is super still if you can't get notifications soon. I mean, we've discussed it, but right now Angelo feels really good at the weight class, so we'll stay at 26. And if the right opportunity presents itself at 30, then we'll go 30. But right now, he just got to featherweight recently, so there's still good fights there, and we're confident that these fights will happen. But it's just been annoying because we actually really want to fight. We really want to fight. Is it because of purse bids or how does that work? So the way it was, so I'll explain it to you. So with purse bids, so basically, Angelo's a champion, right? When you get a mandatory challenger, the champion and the challenger have a certain amount of time to negotiate a deal for a fight. So um, they work out, the date, the venue, purse splits, all that stuff, right? If you can't come to an agreement by a certain time, then the fight goes to purse split. So that's actually that didn't happen with the Kameda fight. The Kameda fight was a bit of a different situation, but that happened with this fight. That happened with this fight with Aline. That's why the fight wound up going to Atlanta. So basically, Angelo was supposed to fight in February, right? Angelo Leo was supposed to fight in February against Lorato Diamante. It was supposed to be a voluntary defense in New Mexico. Angelo has never had a voluntary. It's so hard for this guy to get a. He's the only champion in boxing who can't get a voluntary. Bruce Carrington can get a voluntary. Espinosa can get 4 voluntaries. Nick Ball can get voluntaries out the wazoo, but Angelo Leo, no voluntary. So that fell through with Dimiani. Aleem had already become the mandatory challenger, so the IBF wasn't gonna allow Angelo to wait any longer, and they couldn't get a deal done by a certain time, so the fight went to purse bid. Pro Box didn't win the purse bid, so they kind of left Angelo out to dry a little bit, which is okay, because when you're really confident in your fighter, right, which everybody here is on the team, you can win, right? So um, they took it. They decided to take it to Atlanta, and that's why we're here. Figueroa got to stop looking forward for the NOA win, and he should fight Angelo Leo. I agree. I 1000% agree that he should go look to fight Angelo. Brandon, I had the chance to interview Brandon Figueroa back in late February during Ryan Garcia Barrios fight week. Um, he didn't really sound like that fight was a priority for him. He had mentioned that they had been linked in the past when they both were signed to PBC, but he was looking more at Espinoza. So it is what it is. Um, I don't think nobody will unify till NOA gets done there. They don't want to lose the NOA bag. Well, I can't really speak for any other champions. All I can tell you is we really do want the unification fights. We would like to show you guys that we believe and that we know we're the best in the world. But it's not simple. It's not as simple as you guys think. Like, you guys don't understand. And I know people will say, well, BT, when a fighter really wants to fight, they can make it happen. But that's not always true. There's different scenarios, and every situation in boxing is different. But I mean, all I gotta say is, look, all you gotta do is just go through each featherweight champion's resume, right? You can compare the top 5 best opponents from each featherweight, and you can tell me who has proven over time that they will fight the best competition out there. And if you do that, you'll have your answer. Um, I'm starting to think that featherweight is cursed. I feel like there needs to be a cash cow in featherweight, like in a way, so the money is too good to turn down. Force the unification fight's not happening. Well, look, I'm optimistic, man. I really do believe things can change very quickly and tables can turn very fast. And I do think that in due time it'll be Angelo. And by the way, guys, if you haven't already checked it out, I would highly advise any and everybody, if you haven't already checked it out. Um, you know, I, I actually made a whole store for Angelo. So if you want to buy any Angelo Leo gear, AngeloLeoApparel.com. I pinned it in the comments, so it should be in the comments. But if you need the link, let me know. Go support the champ. Get your merch. There's a lot of cool things on there, and yeah, it'll be really cool. We'll have some things on there soon. Like when this fight is done, we got some plans for like things we're gonna drop. So definitely go check it out. And my man, the dog says the merch looks fire. Thank you, champ. Thank you. I worked really really hard on it. Designing everything from scratch, like the site, products, everything. I taught myself a whole new skill this camp with Shopify. So made use of my time. I want to see Leo versus Shushu. How do you see that one? I think it's a good fight. I think it's I think it. I think Angelo does a lot of things creatively on offense. I think Bruce Carrington's a very dynamic counterpuncher who's growing as a fighter. Um, I think Angelo wins that fight. I won't tell you how, but I think he wins that fight. Has Angelo been approached by Zuffa Boxing? I wouldn't say that they made a formal approach, but what I can tell you is that we've checked in on the idea of that happening, but it doesn't make any sense, to be honest. Zuffa Zuffa makes more sense for like guys on the come up. If you're a guy who's already an established fighter, it's not doesn't make it makes sense if you just want some quick easy money, but you're not really going anywhere. There's no legacy really. There's no legacy involved with Zuffa. You understand? So I mean, we're about yeah, of course everyone wants to get paid, but you got into boxing because you wanted to be great, and we actually do want to be great. And I wish people would just stop thinking that I'm capping, and I'm telling you guys the truth. I have no reason to lie. I'll answer your question, dog. I think if Angelo and Shushu fought, I think I'll go Angelo on points, possibly stoppage, but I'll say points. Would Inoue do the rehydration clause on Figueroa because at 126? What do you think, BT? I don't think Inoue wants to come to featherweight. I think he's been hit hard quite a few times by Cardenas and Junto and even like a guy like Merjon at spots of that fight. And I just don't think him and his team and Bob Arum, I don't think they like the idea of him coming to featherweight. These guys punch harder. Their bones are more dense. Inoue is not exactly Danny Garcia or George Chuvalo in the chin department, so they don't want to risk a knockout loss. Why do that when you could fight Bam Rodriguez, who's on the pound for pound list, who everybody thinks is this great fight? You could fight him. I know there was they had mentioned in a way fighting Ryosuke Nishida, who's very popular in Japan. They could do that fight, so that's what it is. If Leo looks too good, Rafi Espinoza might never ever mention Leo's name again. He won't. He won't. Bro, Rafa does not want that fight. Straight up. He does not want that fight. And yeah, and that's nothing. Like Kyoto says, we don't want to lose that title. He worked hard for that title. He worked hard for that title. He had a long road back. The boxing business left him for dead at one point. Nobody was checking for him. I was there with him, so I remember like yesterday. Who's your favorite commentator? I like hearing Sergio since he knows what they go through since he was a fighter. My favorite commentator is when I have a chance to listen to him on his lives is Sean Zattel. That's my favorite commentator, Sean Zattel. But if we're talking about people that consistently commentate on the Zone and things like that, and Amazon Prime, um, who do I like? Do I like anybody? I don't really. I'm not really a big Mannix guy. I like Corey Erdman sometimes on those Japanese commentaries. I like him. I like Christina Poncher. Um, but I'll go with Sean Zattel. It's the Zattel true school Zattel era. The real has arrived in this era of boxing media. Yes, sir. Shushu and Espinoza get more unlikable every day, but Shushu even more at least. Espinoza's not running his mouth, but Shushu dude is so annoying to go and fight more cans. Well, I don't want to say that he's fighting a can. I think Palacios is a good opponent. I saw Palacios fight against Sagawa, right, and he did beat Sagawa. He did what Shushu failed to do, right. So Shushu's doing the whole Richardson Hitchens Matias thing. He didn't want to fight Sagawa in a rematch, so he waited for Sagawa to lose, and now he's gonna fight the guy that beat Sagawa so that he can have an out to say why he didn't rematch Sagawa. That's what he's doing. Um, that's what I'll say there. Um, it's a good fight. Palacios is pretty athletic. He's a pressure fighter, um, which I think it does play into like Bruce's style and what he likes. Um, but I think he's more athletic than some of the other guys. Like he's not as flat-footed as Enrique Vivas, that kind of guy. He's a bit more athletic than him. Good work rate, so it'll be a fun fight. If Shushu is, so they always say like you're not a legitimate champion to defend. So we're gonna see if Shushu can go do his thing. When are we getting BT amateur fight? Come on God, I want to see it. You want to see the amateur fight? Shit, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. Right now, I'm just focused on this Angelo fight. What I can tell you about myself, actual boxing wise, myself, I did spar 25 rounds this camp. I sparred 25 rounds, um, and it was very difficult because we was up there. Let's see it when you get to 100,000 subs. Yeah, let's focus one thing at a time. 100,000 subs. How about that? If you guys give me 100,000 subs, I'll do the amateur fight, or I'll spar live. And I think it was you earlier. You asked me if me and Angelo sparred. No, we didn't spar any rounds. The majority of my rounds were done with Eric Lantis Jr., who's a 140 pounder with 14 pro fights. He's 12-2 with 8 knockouts, I think. So the majority of my rounds the majority of my sparring was done with him. After Angelo would, spar his crazy amount of rounds. Um, but I do want to spar Angelo when he's not in camp. So when he's not in camp and he wants to move around, we're gonna move around a little bit, and I'll post it on here. See what y'all think. I don't think Inoue fight was that bad. I think it was mostly the card that was underwhelming, and having Jin as a coin would have been perfect. They screwed that up. That was a layup. That was a layup. You like they really have this hard on for Yoshiki Takei, who is overrated as hell. You had a layup. You had two all action, hard punching Japanese fighters with leaky defense that are welterweights, and you put fucking Yoshiki Takei in an exhibition? Come on, man. What we doing? TSM says we need BT and Jin sparring. Absolutely not, champ. Hell no. One time, I'll tell you a story. One time, early in camp, me and me, it was the night of the Navarrete Sugar Nunez fight. It was me, Jin, Angelo, and the rest of the team. We went out to watch the fight, and I remember I told Jin to like punch my hand, like just punch my hand, like kind of like like the pads, but like my hand was the pad, right? And this motherfucker punched my hand a couple times. That shit was a brick. That shit was an absolute brick. He has very 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 dense bones. I can see why when he touches guys, he gets the respect automatically. Very very dense hands. Maybe next camp we can move around with Jin. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you want to see a video of me moving around the ring with Angelo and Jin? People want to see that shit. But shout out to all 20 of you guys rocking with me, man. It's your boy BT, Brennan Taylor, the Untouchable True School Sports Empire. It's currently right now here in the great city of Atlanta, Georgia. It is currently 1:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's 6:51 a.m. in London. It's 2:52 p.m. over there in Japan. It's great to be here. It's great to be here at another Angelo Leo fight week. This is my sixth Angelo Leo fight. I've been to Aaron Alameda, Nicholas Polanco, Mike Plania, Eduardo Baez, Bernardo Lopez, Tomoy Kameda, and now Rice Salim. So it's been an amazing journey, and it's going to continue. And still, BT, if Alan Chavez from Argentina is for real, the next big action fight could be Abdullah Mason versus Alan Chavez. I love that fight. I think if Top Rank really believes in Abdullah Mason the way that I believe in Abdullah Mason, and the way that they should believe in Abdullah Mason, that's a fight they should explore. I would hate, and it would really make me upset if he beats Joe Cordina and it's time to fight Alan Chavez, and all of a sudden they say Abdullah Mason can't make the weight. I don't want to hear that. I'm hoping he can make the weight healthily. We can do the Alan Chavez fight, and then everyone could be happy. That'd be a fun fight. Two explosive southpaw power punches. I mean, Alan Chavez, he fought on a card that really, let's be real, nobody cared about Jarrell Miller versus Lenier Perot, and he made people care about him. He put the world on notice that night. You know, when is Yuga fighting? The 25th? Are you pulling up for Yuga? I'm not gonna be pulling up for Yuga because Yuga's gonna be fighting in the Philippines, and that'll be May 24th. Listen. I love Yuga, but when it comes to Yuga, I gotta love that guy from afar. As far as a fighter, when people don't want to have you around, you go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. So, if he knows where to find me, I'm very easy to get a hold of. But until then, I'll support Yuga from afar because he don't really want to fuck with your boy BT, and that's just what it is. Um, I do wonder what's gonna happen with Jin and Hiroka. Both are in a rough spot in terms of getting world level fights. I don't think so. I think Hiroka actually his stock went up in the loss to Gary Anton Russell, so people know who he is now. They can't really say they don't know who he is, right? He's a former world title challenger. Someone will have to fight him at some point. And as far as Jin already has his next fight scheduled. He doesn't have an opponent, but they have the date and they have like the venue already set. Jin Suzuki's gonna fight September 21st out there in Hachiochi, Tokyo. He's gonna do a hometown fight for the hometown fans. So I mean, I don't know where the hell I'm gonna be around that time, but I was making some plans to be in Japan around September. So God willing, if my plans go somewhat according to plan, I will be at Jin's next fight in Hachiochi, and Jin should be in camp with us for a good amount of time. Nikita Zoo is in the morning. Is he in the morning? That's right. He is in the morning. I've been seeing this fight poster all over. Yeah, Nikita Zoo's fighting, and you know what? You're right. Nikita Zoo is fighting, and my boy Joe James. Shout out to Joe James. He's a Pro Box TV favorite of mine. Joe James is a guy that I had a chance to get to know in the Bay Area a little bit. I had a chance to actually corner a couple of his sparring sessions down there at Virgil Hunter's gym, and I like Joe a lot. So hopefully he can win his fight. But yeah, Nikita Zoo. I like Nikita Zoo. He's fun to watch. I don't think I'm not gonna. I'm probably not gonna stay awake for it. And if I do stay awake, I'm gonna stay up to awake to watch Nikita Nakano and Diamante because that's featherweight, that kind of thing. But listen, guys, give me your questions, man. Don't get stale on me. Don't get stale on me. I'm gonna give you guys the honest, customary 2 hours. So definitely, like let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna give you guys the honest 2 hours, like I always do. Who wins that one? Which one? Dimiani and Nakano. It's a tough fight. I'm leaning towards Dimiani. Nakano is gonna have to show me something. That's a good fight. I think Misia Rodriguez should probably beat Andre Katsurakis. Andre Katsurakis is good. I don't think either guy really boxes and moves too well. So that fight's gonna be about just who is the more physically stronger guy. It's to me from what I know about both of them. I do see that as like a very very close fight. Um, I'll go with Misia Rodriguez though slightly, but it's a good fight. After Leo's fight, what fight are you looking forward to? Hugo Osaki's return fight in the Philippines, and then probably Jaron Ennis versus Andrew Zayas. I'll probably be at Jaron Ennis versus Andrew Zayas for sure. Um, do you think Munguia is still on the juice, even though I never rated Roseni's? I find it suspect that he popped still. Um, I mean, at the top level, a lot of these guys are on the juice, but all I'll say about Munguia is I thought he looked amazing. That was the best Munguia I ever seen. He looked like he had a great game plan, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna wind up fighting Bektimir Melakuziev next because that's an in-house fight. Beck, I believe he's like number one, or he's pretty up there. So yeah. Am I looking forward to the Atif Overton fight? Yes, I am. And funny you mentioned that. When we got to the hotel, and we checked in, I actually saw Atif Overton. I had a chance to meet him in person for the first time. I've had him on the channel a couple times. I got a chance to meet Tommy and Kello, so I talked to them for about 2 or 3 minutes, and they're very nice. I want you guys to expect an Atif Overton interview here on True School Sports. In the next 2 days, in the next 2 days at least, I should be getting my Atif Overton interview. So, yeah, it was good seeing him. Sebastian says, BT, I'm from Atlanta. I'm not sure what part of Atlanta you're at, but if you need any good food spots, let me know. Feel free to drop them down below, man. I mean, I won't disclose my exact location because you don't know who's out there. But let me know. We got cars. Where does Kent Shiro go from here after being robbed of his title shot? I think Kent Shiro. It's a hell of a question, man. I don't know. I have zero idea. Like he got screwed royally. They put him in a very bad position. Um, if I was part of Team Kenshiro, I would petition with the what is it, the IBF to go get that title shot that's owed to me because that's really what I feel should be happening. To be honest, who do you have between Goliath Fire and Ricardo Sandoval? Good fight, really good fight. I'll go with Sandoval. I like Sandoval. You don't want those Mr. Honda goons coming for you. I ain't scared of nobody, bro. But yeah, we gotta be smart, Mr. Honda. Foster versus Ford is the best fight coming after Leo. My boy Foster will show a mean demonstration for Shakur to be excited about. You know, I'm not going to disclose what it is because I have something very big planned for Angelo around that time of that fight. So I'm not really sure if I'll be at that fight, but I know Sean Zettel really wants to be at that fight. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what schedule permitting. We'll see if we can go. But that's a very good fight. If I can be in Atlanta for that fight, I'll be very excited. I found it hilarious that the IBF tried to make Ken fight an eliminator. That's ridiculous. Like, how can you fight an eliminator when you were scheduled to fight the champion? and the champion pulls out. That don't make no sense. Where do they do that at? That don't make no sense. Um, Demetrius Andre needs to come back. No shame in losing to David. Andre's been trying to come back. I know a couple of fighters. I won't say who, but I know at least three fighters that have been offered that fight, and obviously they all turned it down because it makes no business sense. And Andre wants an insane amount of money to fight. Period. So the promoters can't even fully get on board with these fights happening. But he's from what I know, because I talked to people, and I talked to a particular guy in this camp. He's still in the gym. He's still training. He's still remaining sharp or trying to as sharp as he can be. Make Bam fight a great Japanese fighter to earn the Inoue fight. Yeah, go fight Nakatani. He should go fight Nakatani. That's the fight that should happen anyway, before Inoue. My man Joel is using the catchphrases. He said, "Why hasn't Karen signed with Zuffa BT? Hashtag he's very Zuffa. He is. You know what? He is very Zuffa. He's he's a European fighter with no marketability who doesn't speak English. That's actually a good fighter. So he is very Zuffa. Um, if I had to take a guess as to why he hasn't signed with Zuffa Boxing, it's probably because he has good ranking position in one of the sanctioning bodies, and he believes he's going to get a world title shot. He says, "Go to Beltline on your free time." Beltline. Let me Google that. Beltline. Belt Beltline Atlanta. Beltline Atlanta. Because I have to go for a run tomorrow. I've been eating like a fat ass the last couple of days, so I gotta go to Beltline. I'll keep that right there in that little tab. So thank you for that, champ. Let's do Bam versus Takuma. I'm trying to. Yeah, I mean, look, Takuma. He's a guy that I think people are starting to overrate a little bit now. He's a good fighter, two-time champion, in the best form of his life. I would love to see Bam versus Takuma because Takuma is the kind of fighter that if you box at range and let him fight his fight, he's very hard to beat. He's very good at boxing at range. He loses to a particular style, and that style is the downhill, heavy-handed, volume punching style. Guys like Nordino Bali, guys like Seiya Tsutsumi, these kind of fighters, these are the guys that Bam loses to. You understand? Bam, I would say Bam does have elements of pressure, but his pressure is different. So maybe it does get to Takuma, but I foresee that fight being a fight where they box at range a lot. And if you box with Takuma in a way, it's a hard challenge to tackle. Do we have an idea of what Inoue would do versus Espinosa since Junto is taller than Inoue? I would assume a lot of body shots. It's a long torso. It's a lot to hit. I would assume a lot of stab jabs. Espinoza likes to lean over his front foot, so I would assume some straight right hand counters on the middle. Things of that nature. Robert Garcia said he's going versus Chispa Medina. Medina is more strong. Listen, man, when it comes to Bam and Robert, I'm to the point with their interviews. I've checked out. I don't pay attention to what Bam says anymore. I don't pay attention to what Robert says anymore because if you listen to both of them, Bam's going over here and Robert's going over here. They're never really on the same accord ever, and it's annoying. So I just wait for the fights to get signed and I watch Bam fight. I don't listen to anything they say. I told you guys before Bam and Robert even started shooting their mouths off about Junto Nakatani. I told you guys, made videos time and time again telling you guys Bam and Junto are not fighting because they're both with Mr. Honda. You know? And what happened? Bam says this, Junto says that. They get people talking, they build their names up more, and they both go do their own thing. Since you don't like the Bam fight, what if he and Inoue were the same weight? How would you see it? If they were the same weight, I still think Inoue. I think Inoue would win. Straight up, I think I think Bam is good. Bam is one of the best fighters. He's a top fighter for sure. Great footwork, great balance, angles are crazy. But Bam, you can counterpunch Bam. You can counterpunch the hell out of Bam. Christian Gonzalez showed that. BA said he accepted the Nakatani fight. Who's BA? Joseph the Jokun says, "Can you tell Leo to learn how to do the cross jab like Bernard Hopkins? It's a lost art." Look, man, whenever people make suggestions to us about bettering Angelo, I mean, whether it's good or it's bad, even people say bad things. We take all suggestions, we take all constructive criticism because a lot of times, at this level, you got to always continue to get better. Boxing's always a learning curve. So I just screenshotted it. When I see him at some point tomorrow, I'll bring it up to him, and we'll probably review it and stuff. So yeah, I'll tell him. Why not? Oh, Bam. Bam said he accepted the Nakatani fight. I don't believe that shit. I don't believe that. What Nakatani fight? Well, how could there be a Nakatani fight? Nakatani and Inoue was literally locked in before Junto even ever fought Sebastian Hernandez Reyes. They had the Tokyo Dome date on hold before he fought Sebastian Hernandez Reyes. So Bam is a clout chaser. Bam is a grade A clout chaser. The fight was never gonna happen, and he's just using Junto. He's using Inoue and Junto to make his name bigger because Bam really doesn't sell like that. Bam's had the headline when Bam was a headlining fighter. He had to fight at the Techport Arena, and the Techport Arena is an insanely small arena in San Antonio. That's why Bam had to go be on Boots' undercard way out in Philly because Bam does not sell tickets like you guys think. He's a very good fighter. He's one of the best fighters in the world. He is not a ticket seller. And that's not even me talking trash. I'm telling you guys real facts. In fact, just because of that, I'm about to pull up his box right now because I want to tell you. I'm going to tell you guys every fight. I'm gonna tell you guys Bam's last 5 fights. There's no his side accepted. There was nothing to accept. They had the Tokyo Dome date on hold for Inoue and Nakatani. So I don't. I know he can say that. I don't believe them. Bam and Robert are always there. Bam is here and Robert is there. So Bam's last 5 fights, I'll name them. I'll name them in order for you guys, right? Where he fought, who he fought. So Fernando Martinez, Saudi Arabia. Obviously, there's no tickets to sell there. You're in Saudi. Kafu, that was at the Ford Center at Frisco. He headlined. That's a good venue. I'll give him that one. Pedro Guevara, he was the co-main on the Boots undercard. Guy Estrada, that was in Phoenix. That one sold pretty decently. And then, so really, Arizona, and parts of Texas, that's where he's doing his business at. Bam is still trying to build his name a bit more, and he's doing it by any means necessary because he's not a mega ticket seller as of yet. He's getting there. I'll give it to him. He's gonna get there at some point, but he's not there yet. Joel says, BT, I feel like Chulo Santiago is being 2 fights away from the first undisputed Puerto Rican in history. He is forcing Colossus to move quick and accept the Tadrian fight. It sounds like it's happening. I'll believe it when I see it, man. Oscar Collazo is like, there's fighters in every weight class in boxing that are allowed to marinate fights and pick and choose and not get criticized for it. And then there's fighters that got to do whatever they can just to earn. They got to do double just just to earn any sort of notoriety in the game. So Oscar Collazo is more like the first thing I mentioned. I don't believe that he's fighting these guys until they make him because he has all the politics on his side. I went to his fight in Dallas. It was around 50% packed, but the main floor was packed. That's what it looked like. That's what I assumed because I thought it was kind of a big arena for Bam, but I wasn't there, so I didn't want to talk shit about a fight where I didn't know for sure. But you saying it, not me. Has Leo been approached by any game studios like the guys that made Undisputed? I think they're doing a sequel, and I'm not sure if EA is gonna make a boxing game. No, well, no, I don't think he has because I think I brought it up to him one time and he said no. But that's actually something I want to help get done for him. Obviously, for those of you who really watch me and know me, Sean Porter is a great friend of mine. Sean Porter was just in England to go do some stuff for the game. I actually saw Sean Porter. Sean Porter sat next to me ringside at the fights for like 45 minutes. For 45 minutes, he sat next to me and Sean's hotel and we talked for a little bit. So I probably gotta ask Sean Porter about that. He probably the guy to ask about that, and shit, we can make it happen. Do any of you guys in the chat even play Undisputed? And would you guys want to see Angelo in the game? Haney Tezufa versus Ricardo Salas Rodriguez. Get him the fuck off the pound list. Listen, Devin's gonna do whatever whoever's in a way overpaying market value. That's he's used to getting overpaid. That's what it is. Yo, BT, when is the Angelo Leo giveaway? We'll have one after the fight. He actually just had we actually just went through a bunch of boxes of merch, of old merch that he's had sitting in boxes for years that we're gonna put on the site. We could probably have him sign one of those and auction and do that. Do you think Xander and Leo can pull off the move that Oscar uses to do when he set up the left and the right hook to the body, and then he sets it up with the right and the left uppercut to the chin? It's a 3, 4, 5, 6. It worked on the black fighter with Philly show or Phillies. Do you think Xander and Leo can pull off that move that Oscar used to do when he set up the left and the right to the body, and then he sets up with the right left uppercut? Um, I don't know if Xander. I don't know if Xander has the hand speed to do that. I mean, because Xander, well, I don't want to say hand speed. He has hand speed. I don't know if Xander has the dexterity to do that. Because if you look at Xander, if you break Xander Zayas down as a fighter, Xander Zayas is a very fundamentally sound textbook fighter, which is good. But sometimes he doesn't have the dexterity on his punches to do that. So I don't know about Xander. I know Angelo could do that. He watches a lot of boxing, and believe it or not, he's very good at imitating fighter styles and things like that. So I'm sure he could do it. I'm not watching any fights right now. Right now, I'm talking to you guys, and I'll be here for 30 more minutes, and I'm watching HGTV, and the other guys on the team are sleeping. So when Bam beats Inoue, the haters will say Inoue is old. I mean, if Bam beats Inoue, cool. I might honestly, guys, I might not even watch that fight. I hate that fight so much. I seriously might go plan. I might go on a date. I might go on a hot date or something like that. I've been talking to this girl recently, so I might go take her on a hot date. Bam should be trying to fight Junto or one of the guys at 118. And Inoue should be at featherweight. So I don't really care. I'm gonna start boycotting when they start doing these unnecessary matchups like Crawford, Canelo, and Bam versus. I'm just gonna I'm gonna go find something else to do. I think Leo. I think Alim beats Angelo Leo. I'm glad you guys do. I'm glad you guys do. So when it doesn't happen, I just hope that you guys don't say that Rice Lane wasn't that good, and Sam. I hope you guys don't say that he was a Sam Goodman leftover and Angelo's cherry pick. I hope you don't say that. Just please, just give my man his credit. He worked very hard this camp. He doesn't get handed things he doesn't get to win his world title against Carlos Castro or defend against Sergio Trino Sanchez. No, they give him all the higher risk, low reward guys. So the reason I don't like that fight is because I don't like when the powers that be manufacture fights out of thin air. So Crawford Crawford versus Canelo, to me, obviously it was two big names. It was a big event. Obviously it did great at the gate and it was good for the business of boxing. But it was a fight that was manufactured out of thin air. Same thing with this Benavidez Usyk shit that's happening now. Benavidez beat Zoro, and now they're talking about him fighting Usyk. That's a manufactured matchup. I just don't like manufactured matchups. I like when guys actually fight and dominate weight classes and do their thing. Now, if Bam had went undisputed already in a weight class, and then he wanted to jump up to, maybe I could see it a little bit, but it's just you pulling it out of thin air. And in a way, it's already been dragging his feet to go to featherweight, so that's why I don't like it. Could it be a great fight? Of course, they're both amazing fighters. They're very very talented. Bam with the angles and the power jab and the body shots that he can create out of thin air. In a way with the legs and the sharp shooting down the middle. He does a lot of great things too. So obviously both guys bring a whole lot to the table. But truthfully speaking, it's not a fight that I feel right now is necessary. And I feel like they're just trying to give it to Bam because you know he's in. I don't know. I just don't want to see it. Hey BT, how you doing, man? I remember you predicted when you saw Inoue lose to. I remember you predicted when you say Inoue will lose to either MJ or Junto, but I'm glad he didn't. How would you rate Inoue after the Junto win? Um, I don't remember saying that. I think I said something along the lines of if Inoue stays at 122 too long, he might run the risk. But when I did my prediction videos, there's zero way in hell I picked Merjan Agudale to beat Inoue because I don't think anything of Merjan. I think Merjan is one of the most overrated fighters from featherweight on down. He's overrated. Junto, I thought had a chance to possibly beat Inoue, but I never picked against Inoue. Um, but to answer your question, it's kind of hard to all time ranking. I mean, he's a great fighter. He's an all time great. He's a Hall of Famer. He's, in my opinion, the best fighter in the history of Japan, of Japanese boxing. Um, Boxing has so many great fighters. It's hard to say where, but I would say in my lifetime, he's definitely one of the top 10 fighters I've seen. For sure. Great fighter, amazing fighter. Have I been to the arena? Have I been to the arena? No, I haven't yet. Maybe tomorrow I might, but not yet. Do you think Mikito Nakano beats whoever he's fighting tonight after getting fraud checked by Aleem? I think it's a very tough fight because the guy he's fighting moves around a lot. He's crafty. So if Nakano can't just blitz him, it's gonna be a hard fight for him. I'm actually leaning towards the other guy to be honest, and I like Nakano. But getting back to that whole Inoue thing with Junto, I, Junto to me like it's a good win on paper. He was undefeated, but I'm really adamant, and anybody who has heard me talk the last 2 months about this at all, Junto lost to Sebastian Hernandez Reyes, and I'm not gonna let nobody forget that. Like Sebastian Hernandez Reyes took the belt out, and he did this to Junto, right? He beat him upside the head and beat it and spanked that ass. And they robbed him because they needed this Inoue Nakatani fight to happen because it was big for Japanese boxing on a global scale. It was big for the business of boxing in Japan, and so they weren't going to give this fight to Reyes at the expense of that fight not happening. They needed both guys undefeated and all that stuff. I heard Hernandez was too much for the Inoue camp during sparring. They sent him home after a week. Any info on that? Um, I mean, I've heard that from multiple people that Sebastian Hernandez Reyes was a dog and was beating the brakes off these guys. And I think from what I've heard, I can only tell you guys what I've heard. I feel like people have gotten carried away because what I heard was that he was beating the shit out of everybody in the Ohashi gym, and basically, Inoue got in there with him, and Inoue had to handle his business. But I heard it was good work. Like it wasn't so much that Inoue just dominated and ran him out of the gym, but it was he did way better than everybody else was doing because they were all getting their ass kicked by Hernandez. Um, But I heard it was really competitive work. I heard Inoue had a lot of good moments, sharpshooting on the middle of the high guard, and yeah, that's what I can say. Is there any good Japanese female boxers? I mean, I'll be honest. I'm the wrong guy these days to ask about female women's boxing. I've checked out of consistent women's boxing coverage on this channel for like 3 years now, but the standout women's fighter is Mizuki Hiruta. She's probably the best one. She's a southpaw. She trains at a Misako boxing gym. I believe she's a champion in like flyweight or bantamweight or one of them weight classes. And she's pretty attractive too. She's a nice looking girl. I think Nakatani did the same thing Nunez did versus Navarrete, where he showed per- perfect. That's actually the best analogy I've heard because just the same way Nunez pissed me off, Nakatani pissed me off. And even though I still think they're both awesome fighters and I respect them, my perception of them has lowered because of not because they lost, but because they were starstruck and they didn't show the urgency to actually go out there and win. Because to me, like in life, there's no shame in losing. There's no shame in falling short. There's no shame in any of that. But I would rather fall flat on my face than have this moral victory bullcrap. I don't like that. But shout out to everybody here at your boy BT, Brennan Taylor, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm checking to you guys. I'm checking into you guys live and direct from, you know, one of the most important cities in the great US of A, Atlanta, Georgia. And we're here for Angelo, Leo, Rice, Salim Fight Week. It's been a long, tough, arduous camp for your boy BT on many, many fronts. I've been gone from home since February 17th. So we're talking about 70 plus days away from home. But I believe it's all going to pay off on Saturday. And, you know, respect to Rice, Salim for taking the fight. And I think people are gonna I think people are gonna start to realize that a lot of the things I say on this channel are not out of delusion, are not just out of pure bias, but because I just know what kind of fighter Angelo is. So hopefully you guys tune in and make sure y'all go support that AngeloLeoApparel.com, that Shopify store that your boy built from scratch during camp. I learned a whole new skill during camp. Go copy a shirt, go support the champ, and you won't, there's some cool things on there. What do I think of the Usyk fight? Um, I don't think about the Usyk fight. To be honest with you, it's not a fight I'm interested in. He's fighting a kickboxer. He's fighting a guy I don't know shit about. I want to see him fight Aji Kabiel. I want to see him fight Philip Hergovich. I want to see him fight Mosley Tama. Those are the kind of fights that I want to see. Um, I don't really care about this fight. And he's done a lot of great things in his career. So if he wants to have one of these kind of fights, cool. But after that, if you still want to box, then I want to see you fight Kabiel. Bam said in an recent interview that when he was 14, he would watch Roman Gonzalez, Quadras, and Estrada, and he looked up to them, and that he was starstruck when he fought Quadras and Rung Versailles. I mean, if he was starstruck, I don't know how starstruck he was because he punched a hole through those guys. So if he was starstruck, he did a great job of masquerading it, and he got the job done. But that's interesting. That's how it is in life when you're great. When you're great at anything, your idols become your rivals. I'll tell you guys a personal story on my end, right? Well, earlier somebody had asked me like, who was the commentator that I looked up to, and I named Sean Tell, right? But one of the people that I really looked up to and really respected when I started covering boxing was Radio Raheem. I have a lot of respect for Radio Raheem and the things that he's done in the sport of boxing. He was covering boxing on YouTube and even just on websites and shit like that on Max Boxing, like back in the day when Pacquiao first got to LA at Wildcard Gym. So he's got skin in the game, right? So I've always looked up to Radio Raheem, and now through hard work and determination, now I'm at a stage where I collab with Sean, and Radio Raheem has said positive things about some of the videos me and Sean have done together. So like, it's amazing what happens when you work hard. So same thing with Bam. Bam has got to that level where now his idols become his rivals, or his contemporaries, I should say. So yeah, it's beautiful. Who is the next Japanese boxing star after Inoue that would be worth going to Japan for? Um, the next one, Jin Suzuki, because Jin Suzuki's gonna come to the USA with his great trainer Hirotaka Nakaya. He's gonna collaborate with the best featherweight in the world, Angelo Leo, like he did for this camp, and the great trainer Miguel Leo, and Coach Jonathan Balgame, and film studying with BT and Johnny. And we're gonna put it all together. And Jin's gonna be a fantastic welterweight. And if he continues to put it together, maybe even the first Japanese welterweight champion in history. So we'll see. But apart from Jin, you got a lot of really good fighters. You got, as far as going to Japan, I mean, if you like knockouts, let me see. I mean, I think Jin is entertaining, so I'd go watch Jin fight even if I didn't know Jin. But I'll say maybe like Reita Tsutsumi. Maybe I like Reita Tsutsumi. Reita Tsutsumi is really good. If they free my dog Yuga, right, which they are, Yuga Osaki, Yuga Fujiki in a couple years is probably a guy that'll emerge. Maybe a guy like Yuta Sakai from Ohashi Gym. I mean, we're still kind of in the middle of finding who the next mega Japanese star is going to be from the next generation. So Those are a couple of names. Those were a couple of names that come to mind. Was Jim the one that Brian Norman Jr. beat? Yes, he was. 1,000%. I was there. Hayato Sutsumi is a beast. I think he's one of the pound for pound best fighters from Japan for sure. It's tough. The Nakano fight is tough because Nakano, I think, has more firepower. It's just, you watched Ali, he had more firepower than Alim, but Alim had a great game plan. He knew the box, and he kind of, it's tough when a fighter loses their first fight. It damages their confidence, and I think confidence matters more for punchers than non-punchers or guys who are more multifaceted. So, yeah, I think I would lean towards Dimiani, but I think it's a really close fight. Yeah, right now, we got in one bed we got Fernando Paredes sleeping, one of the sparring partners, 5-0, and then right next to me we got Jonathan Balgame, one of the conditioning coaches. So making it do what we do. 15 minutes left, and then I'm going to sleep. What's next for Jin? He has the style to become a superstar in the looks. He has a fight September 21st in Hachiochi. It'll be a homecoming fight, so I don't think it'll be a great opponent, but I'm okay with that because it'll give him another training camp to come here to the States and for us to help him smooth some things out. I'll say this: Kaku Sasaki is honestly not that good. I don't have any super strong opinions on Kaku. I think Kaku needs to move down in weight. For me to actually have a better of a gauge on what Kaku Sasaki is, he needs to move down in weight. He's not a middleweight. What do you guys think about the snoring sounds? Is it adding aura to the live? You know, is it adding a nice layer? What have y'all told Jim that he needs to improve on? I mean, you saw some of the things in the fight. I mean, obviously his jab, his defense. I mean, those kind of things. And I thought he did show improvements in the fight because there were really specific things that we told him to do, and he did all those things and then some, and he won, and he was the underdog, and he had the politics against him, and he was fighting against a fighter from the Inoue gym, the Ohashi gym. So there were things that were against him, and he found a way to prevail. But he's a very good listener, man. He's someone that I think he's still 24 years old. He's got untapped potential, and I think he tapped in just a little bit into a little bit during camp for this fight. And I think come September, you guys are gonna see him get better and better and better. Make sure you smash the like button, guys, and definitely subscribe to the channel. His jab looks tighter, and he doesn't extend when he stopped. He doesn't extend like he did when he got stopped with Norman. I mean, you said it, champ. You said it, not me. Is that amongst other things? You know. Wait till y'all see him. Wait till y'all see him in September. That's all I'm gonna say. Wait till you see him in September. It's gonna be nuts. Is there one fight that you really really want to happen? Yes. Oh my god. Before I answer that question, can you guys in the chat take a guess which fight do you think I want to see more than any in the entire sport of boxing? Hero the Boxer says Jin needs to come to Craft Boxing Club and get that work. All the best sparring at welterweight is there. The current boxing hotspot. Where the hell is that? Crafts Boxing Club. Who's over there? Crafts Boxing Club. That's what is that in L.A.? That's in Calabasas, California. Who's over there? Don't go around saying that because if we pull up, we want that work. Who's over there? Calabasas. Everybody in the West Coast has been talking about it. Who's everybody? Ryan Garcia over there? Ryan Garcia? Who's over there? The correct answer is from I Am Mexico. The fight I want to see more than every fight in boxing is Angelo Leo versus Naoya Inoue. If I get one fight to pick, that's the fight I'm picking because it's the fight that I've dreamed about for 6 years. 5 years actually. And for those asking about Worley Dubois, my pick is Worley. I got Worley in that fight. Good fight. Dubois can win. I think Worley is a bit sharper down the middle. He's a bit faster and he's got better stamina. So if Dubois is to be Worley, he's gonna have to, I think, stop him early, or he's gonna have to kind of bully him in the pocket, kind of tap into the dark arts of boxing and really um, use a, if he has a physical strength advantage, exploit that. You know. So Ryan Garcia, Caden Griffiths, and okay, all right, yeah, those are all Southern California guys. So I mean, shit, I'll check it out. I'll make some calls. I'll make some calls, man. And when the next camp happens, we actually discussed taking Jin to LA during this last camp, but it didn't pan out that way. So shit, maybe this next camp we might gotta pull up to LA and see what's up. You know, because Jin went ahead and sparred with Rolly, and that went very, very well for Jin. That's what I can say. Rolly was going around Vegas lying about sparring, but we know what happened. If Leo is losing the boxing match, do you think he understands he has to go for it and not start once the fight is nearly over like Junto did? Um, Angelo Leo would never put his hands in his pocket for 7 rounds like Junto because in the one fight that he actually lost, right? If we could use that example against Stephen Fulton, he lost Stephen Fulton, and in that fight that he lost, I want you guys to realize this, in a losing effort, Angelo Leo landed 262 punches. You know, now against Inoue, yeah, I think he's he's not gonna fight like Junto. Obviously, I think Inoue in that fight he'd probably have he would have an advantage in the speed department. I have no doubt about that, but I don't know if that speed advantage would be as pronounced as, let's say, other guys at 122 because you got to factor in Inoue's putting on 4 extra pounds. He'll be older, so yeah, it'll be fast. Maybe it'll be a little bit faster, but it won't be this. I don't think it'll be this insane gap. But either way, anybody who fights Angelo isn't going to come out of there clean. I'll tell you that right now. He will never stop Ryan Harden. You've never seen Ryan in the gym. Everybody in the West Coast knows he's the real deal. Well, we'll have to go. We'll have to go out there and see. I would never say never. Whatever you think you know about Jin, start chucking it out your brain because things are changing very quickly and swiftly. But what I can say is Ryan Garcia is Ryan Garcia is a beast. I'm not one of these people that downplay Ryan. Ryan's got a lot of natural talent. I know about Ryan Garcia. I know all about Ryan Garcia. He put people in the damn emergency room in sparring because that left hook is serious and that speed is serious and he's God gifted. But it's for Ryan. It's just been about can he focus and be dedicated enough to the sport to actually get the most out of his talent. So far, overall in his career, I would say he hasn't got the most out of his talent, but he's on the right track. He got his first world title. He got handed a belt by Mario Barrios, right? Mario Barrios really ain't the greatest guy in the world, so he got hit. So now let's see if he can maintain that and defend and unify and be involved in these big fights and grow, develop, into the champion that people on the West Coast have been, know that he is, right? And I know that he is, but boxing is a cool game. It's a very honest game. If you're not doing the right things day in and day out, it always shows up in the ring. I'm not trying to discredit Junto, but is he as good as he's been rated? Junto Nakatani is a good fighter. I think he got on the pound for pound list because he won a world title in 3 weight classes, but he was significantly bigger than the fighters at what was it 112, 115, and 118. He's bigger and longer than all those guys in those weight classes. Um, when he got to 122, he finally started fighting guys close to his size, and you see what happened to him with Hernandez Reyes. You see what happened to him with Inoue. So I mean, I think he's good. I don't know. I don't think he's a pound pound fighter anymore. He was at a point. He's not anymore. He needs to get himself back on that list by beating somebody of a top notch quality. Um, he gets with Junto too. Like he got some pretty. He fought some cupcakes. He fought some like Tasana Salapat was a can who had a padded record with a bunch of cans on it. Um, like he just doesn't have that kind of big fight experience to deal with a guy like Inoue. I mean, and again, who does? It's hard because Inoue has so much big fight experience these days. But I feel like he needed more experience before the Inoue fight. That's why I never had a reservation about the fight. I thought Junta could be competitive. I thought he had the style to give him problems. I just never thought that he would actually beat him, and I was proven right. Jin versus Daniel Lusinov. How does that go? That's interesting because you Lusinov's older, and he's not active, so um, that'd be a good fight. I don't know. If it was a prime Daniel Lusinov, I'm picking Daniel Lusinov because Daniel Lusinov was the truth. Daniel Lusinov should have been welterweight champion, but boxing and management and just bullshit, all the bullshit that goes on behind the scenes that you guys don't get a chance to hear about. That's what really prevented him from being on that top level. But he was a creme de la creme talent. He's a more talented fighter than Jin for sure. I think he's more talented, but Jin is punching like that, and Jin does have a lot of athleticism that he's still learning. Like he beat Sora Tanaka outboxing him, and he didn't even fully know what he was doing. It was crazy. Junto would smoke Stephen Fulton. The 120, I don't know, man. The Stephen Fulton that fought Angelo, that fought Danny Ormond, that fought them guys. Nah, I don't know. I don't think he was smoking. But I think that'd be a good fight. Is Canelo still a face of boxing? I don't like debating that shit because really, boxing's not in a great enough space overall for there to be a space of boxing. To me, you should only be talking about the face of boxing if the sport is in a healthy place on a mainstream level, and to me, it's not. At least in America, and I'm speaking from the American perspective. That being said, there's faces of boxing. I feel like Canelo is one of the faces. I feel like Inoue is a face. I feel like you know, I feel like the winner of Boots and Xander is going to be trending towards the way of a face. Boots just tweeted late night miles in the bag, June 27th, 36-0 coming soon, two-way unified champion and the new. I love bro. Honestly, the best thing about Boots are those tweets, especially when he posts shit like he'll be on Twitter and he'll post like 15 rounds, 15 rounds with four different sparring partners using one hand, feeling sharp. Hashtag Mr. Catch a Body and the new. June 27th, 36-0. Like, those tweets are hilarious. Or, like, when he puts locked in, feeling like money, sharp, having fun. I'll tell you guys a fight. You guys want to know a fight that I want to see? If BT is the commissioner of boxing, you make me Ramon Cardenas versus Sebastian Hernandez Reyes, and I'm good to go. That's one of them fights I'd be up for. Like you guys know how I tell you, I always say, you know, most of the time I'm just doing my job. I'm covering boxing. I'm talking about things that you guys want to hear. But every year in boxing, there's about 3 to 4 fights that I really really get up for. If they make a Cardenas versus Hernandez fight, I'm gonna be up for that one. I'm up for this weekend. I'll be up for Xander versus Boots. I still want to see Bicoli versus Big Bang. I would like that one. Joel Iriarte and Jin Suzuki would be amazing work. I would love to see that sparring. I know one of the guys I had a chance to see Jin spar a couple guys this camp. Good fighters. Abram Martinez, Julian Montalvo, a little bit of Rolly. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to Jin. I can tell you about Jin. Cardinal said he had a fight lined up, but it hasn't been announced yet. So we'll see how that goes. But guys, look, we're about to hit the 2 hour mark, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I just wanted to come on here right quick. I wanted to pop my shit, say hello, say what's up, let you guys know I'm in the ATL. I wanted to declare that this is war. All right, Salim, for this week, and it's gonna be a fun one. We worked very very hard. I've said a lot. I want to say a lot more between now and Saturday, and but the main thing I'm gonna be saying this weekend, if I don't say anything else, come Saturday night will be and still, God willing. So listen, guys, keep supporting the channel. Things are going great. Things are moving steadily. Life is amazing. God is great. I'm being blessed in ways beyond my greatest imagination. So I'm really happy about that. I have a lot of content to make. I have a lot of content to put out. So you will see a lot of content, shorts, videos, lives, everything this week. And just keep supporting me, guys. And I'm gonna get some rest, and I'll come back the next live with more energy, and it'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, keep supporting, and see you guys later on.